You know, we had no terror during my administration. The only terror we had was Nancy Pelosi, who's a crazed lunatic. She's a lunatic. She is a crazed lunatic. What the hell was going on with her husband? Let's not ask. Let's not ask. I'll withdraw that statement. By the way, she's got a wall around her house. Obviously, in that case, it didn't work very well.
What the hell happened to Nancy Pelosi's husband? He guy in his 80s, almost got beaten to death by somebody that fed in to Donald Trump's crazed conspiracy theories.
That is a lie.
Almost got beaten to death by somebody that fed in to Donald Trump's crazed conspiracy theories.
The defense says DePape had no intention of harming Paul Pelosi and was motivated by a belief that he was saving children from harm based on podcasts and YouTube videos.
Almost got beaten to death by somebody that fed in to Donald Trump's crazed conspiracy theories.
Client's desire to kidnap Nancy Pelosi had nothing to do with her duties as a congresswoman, which is the basis for the assault and attempted kidnapping charges. DePape was obsessed with a theory that wealthy elitists are abusing children, and he hoped to use Pelosi to end the alleged conspiracy.
His thinking was clearly to affect Nancy Pelosi and her job, so she would do her job differently than he wanted or what he saw her do.
Donald Trump's crazed conspiracy theories.
DePape is actually a Canadian citizen. In the country illegally, he could face deportation by Immigration and Customs Enforcement if he gets convicted.
So to restate, the perpetrator in this violent crime against Paul Pelosi is a mentally ill, drug-addicted, illegal alien nudist who takes hallucinogens and lives in a hippie school bus in Berkeley with a BLM banner and a pride flag out front. So take those uncontested facts and let them rattle around your brain for a moment until a recognizable pattern emerges.
Donald Trump's crazed conspiracy theories. That's what happened to Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul.
Bottom line is, ladies and gentlemen, the mentally ill, homeless, illegal alien drug addict who lives in a painted school bus in Berkeley with the BLM flag is actually, despite all appearances, another member of Donald Trump's QAnon army.
Here you have the glorification, the mocking, the ridiculing of a man in his 80s being almost beaten to death. And Donald Trump is laughing about it. Donald Trump is laughing about it, and we know who he is. And we know who he is.
He's the greatest president that we've ever had. So don't get mad when he claps back.
And we know who he
Thank
is.
God for Donald Trump. Hey, 4-5.
Donald Trump decides to run for re-election, and actually I count me as one of the few people who don't believe he will. But who are the people in the audience who are laughing, who are cheering, who are applauding the brutal assault and almost killing of a man in his 80s? Who are those people?
They're great Americans who know there's one person who will always have their backs.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
One guy that will always have the people's back. Trump.
This is sick stuff, but it is consistent. Donald Trump has a fetish for violence. He's encouraging the fetish for violence.
You sound like a bitch, nigga.
This is something that he has cultivated. And the fact that it gives millions of Americans a dopamine hit, or even more Americans look at that and go, okay, maybe what America needs is a strong man who is going to punch our enemies in the face.
You're goddamn right.
He earlier in the show, you played the clip where he said, you know, the greatest threat to America doesn't come from abroad, it comes from within. And that's true. And he is pouring kerosene on the fire, telling Americans the real enemy is not abroad, the real enemy is your fellow Americans.
You, not Donald Trump, are standing at the border like Nazis, going, you here, you here. And I think we now have to flip it. And it's a given the evilness of Donald Trump.
Policies that this administration is putting forth are intentionally cruel. They are racist. And it is our job as citizens to speak out against that.
25% of the country, whether it's 25, 20, 30%, are hardcore racist. They do not want to see brown people coming into America. That's just what's going on here.
Look around you. Those are the people that are the vermin. Those are the people that we must attack. Those are the people that we must that we must fight against. And that is dangerous.
We will, as per Chief Jim Hopper, punch some people in the face when they seek to destroy the meek and the disenfranchised and the marginalized. And we will do it all with soul, with heart.
It is this cultivation of brutality and this fetish for violence that is really alarming, but it's really central to what he is selling right now.
There are still generations of people, older people, who were born and bred and marinated in that prejudice and racism, and they just have to die.
A lot of his supporters believe that we are the enemy of the American people, and that is really, really an awful situation.
Talk about that, if you will, because he has for some time. I mean, you know, after the hellacious terror attack against Israel and the taking of hostages, he started calling the thugs that beat cops up on January the 6th.
The thugs that beat cops up on January the 6th.
These Republicans, they really don't care what the facts are. They don't care about the cop killers. The thugs that beat cops up on January the 6th. Trump, cop killers, Trump, cop killers, Trump, cop killers, struck them dead, beat cops up on January the 6th. They started calling them hostages. But he's used violent language throughout his presidency and throughout his post-presidency.
You got to be ready to throw a punch. You have to be ready to throw a punch.
Donald Trump, I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
That I thought he should have punched him in the face.
I feel like punching him.
I'd like to take him behind the gym if I were in high school.
If we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
No, I wish we were in high school. I could take him behind the gym.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Take him out now.
Okay. It's only intensifying. It's almost like he's saying, okay, I'm going to run on this. I'm going to run being an open authoritarian.
We're going to keep fighting. So I'm telling all my colleagues, this is the fight of our life.
Whose side are you on? Who are you fighting for?
They're fighting for, I'm fighting. We're both fighting.
We will fight back. We're not going to just take this line down.
I'm just going to keep the fight up.
What we have to do right now is fight as hard as we can.
We have to rise up and fight back.
And so we're going to fight, and we're going to continue to fight.
I am going to be fighting like hell.
Keep fighting, or we kept fighting and we did. So we're going to keep fighting.
We have to be fighting every single day.
We have to fight back, and we have no choice but to do that. I think we're doing the right thing to do that.
Fighting.
And I'm fighting.
Well, our job right now is to fight.
Again, it's like almost like he's not almost like he is. He's tearing down all boundaries between good and bad, right and wrong, democracy and authoritarianism.
But we Democrats are fighting as hard as we can. Democrats are fighting as hard as we can. Credit it in any way, but we're fighting back.
What we've got to do is fight in Congress, fight in the courts, fight in the streets, fight online, fight at the ballot box.
Fighting and pushing around the clock, fighting, continue to be brave and be strong and keep fighting. We're getting people engaged in the fight. We're fighting. We've got to keep fighting and keep focused. Continue to fight.
Fight. This is going to be a fight.
We'll also fight him and challenge him in every way that we can.
And it's intensifying by the day.
And we should take him at his word. This is what he will do in a second term. And this, of course, we can trace this back to the 2016 campaign, the violent rhetoric, where he would urge his supporters to beat up protesters at his events.
That is a lie.
We know that he considered unleashing the military on protesters in the George Floyd in 2020. There was uprising during the Black Lives Matter movement.
If a city or state refuses to take the actions that are necessary to defend the life and property of their residents, then I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them.
His rhetoric has grown increasingly more erratic, but also increasingly more violent. And when he does, he gets cheers from the crowd.